You are in the jungle. I am Matt Edwards. What's up? Flying solo this week. Went 0 for 3 on guest. Everyone is busy this time of year, which is all right for me. I had a few things I wanted to say. We'll get you in, get you out. Going to be a little bit of a shorter episode this week. The first thing, I've got 3 real points I would like to make here today. The first one, can we give Joe Burrow just a minute? People are kind of flipping out about what's been going on in camp. They haven't looked as sharp. Do you realize the traumatic injury he went through? You know, I've had Jed DeMusi on here recently from Local 12. They had the raw, field-level video. Joe Burrow was screaming after that hit, and any other grown man would have been too. Think about the pain you go through when you stub your big toe on the kitchen table. Imagine what happens when a 275-pound NFL defensive end rolls up and bends your leg in a direction it was never meant to bend. And this is his first time back on the field since. Just give him a minute. And by all accounts, he looked sharp over the weekend. But man, 3 or 4 practices, and people were flipping out. Of course he didn't look good. He just had, an elephant land on his leg last time he was throwing a football with other people around him. Give him a second. Joe Burrow is going to be fine. Maybe not right away. Maybe it takes time. I think most people listening to this podcast probably remember it took Carson Palmer a little time to get back to his old self. After he had his ACL torn by Kimo von Oelhoffen in the 2005 AFC wildcard round. It takes guys time to get back there. Just give Joe Burrow a minute to get comfortable. Most people who have terrible car crashes don't suffer as bad of injuries as what he had. Give him a minute. And speaking of giving people a minute, let's do the same thing with Ja'Marr Chase. All right, I read something, and I don't remember where it was, and I'm not trying to knock on anyone who gives their opinions. That's what I do, of course. That's what a lot of people do, and it's a fun thing to do. That's why I do this podcast. I don't make any money on this. I enjoy talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. That's why I'm here. I used to do it professionally. I quit that job. I now do it for free. Give Ja'Marr Chase time also. I read somewhere that he wasn't just separating the way you'd like. He has not played a real football game, in 9 months. You hear coaches say all the time there's a big difference in game shape and practice shape. Give him time. It's one thing he's a rookie. He's a rookie who has not played football in real live action in 19 months. And guess what? Last time he did play, he was a freaking beast. He won a national championship against Clemson. Decent program. Had 9 catches, 221 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Again, Ja'Marr Chase, like Joe Burrow, going to be fine. But you got to let these guys shake off the rust. Both of them have had unusual circumstances leading up to this season. Give them a little time to get there. All right? Take a chill pill. I understand. You got to talk about something. But let's not freak out about things we don't need to freak out about. Second topic I've got for you today. I mentioned this on Twitter. If you're following me, at Matt Edwards, cool. If you're not, I'll survive. I'm more excited, and I've probably said this on the podcast. Actually, I'm pretty certain I have, but I'll dive into it a little more here. I'm more excited about what year 2 Tee Higgins does than what year 1 Ja'Marr Chase does. And that's not at all a knock on Ja'Marr Chase. I think he will be great. I'm just saying don't be surprised when Tee Higgins leads this team in receiving this year. That's just how highly I think of Tee Higgins. You look at what he did down the stretch last year, and really, he and Joe Burrow only played 8 games together. And in the latter half of those, so his first 4 games, let's look at this here. First 4 games, solid, right? We all remember that. He had the 2-touchdown game against the Eagles. It ended in a tie. Wasn't that fun? But when he and Joe Burrow, after a month together, got used to each other, let's look at these game lines. Against Indianapolis, 6 catches, 125 yards. Against Cleveland, 5 for 71 and a touchdown. Against Tennessee, a good defense, 6 for 78. And then against the Steelers, and a blowout loss, of course, but still 7 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown. And then the second half of the season, he was still very good, and he was catching passes from Ryan Finley and Brandon Allen. 2 guys, we all appreciate in Cincinnati, but when you're a rookie receiver, those aren't necessarily the guys you are looking to be catching passes from to make a name for yourself. Ryan Finley is not on a roster right now. He beat the Steelers on Monday Night Football, not on a roster 10 months later, 8 months later, whatever it is. And I like Ryan Finley. I respect Ryan Finley, but he's not a guy you want starting for you in the NFL. That's what the Bengals had to do last year. Brandon Allen seems like a very good backup, and that's fine. But for Tee Higgins to do what he did in his rookie year, 67 catches, 900 yards, 6 touchdowns with 3 different quarterbacks, you've got every reason to believe he is going to be excellent. I just think that highly of him. Not a knock on Jamar Chase. I just think we're a little, and I get it, Jamar Chase is the new guy. He's the new first round draft pick. That's the guy you're going to get excited about. It's like on Christmas morning, you still might love this teddy bear the most, but man, you got a new rabbit and you're ready to play with that rabbit. Bad analogy. I don't have kids. It's been a long time since I've got toys for Christmas. You get the point, though. I'm just more excited. I shouldn't even say I'm more excited. I'm excited for both of them. I just think I've got the expectations higher for Tee Higgins in year 2 than I do for Jamar Chase. Will that be something that I still feel the same about? Who knows? But right now, that's where we're at. And then number 3, and this is a boring one that'll lead into my pet peeve for the week. I guess if you're listening to this podcast, it's probably not boring. I am so excited to see what offensive line Frank Pollock has done, the offensive line coach Frank Pollock has done with these guys he's got. A little bit more of outrage. It's not outrage. That's me going a little over the top there. A little bit of sensationalism. Just a little bit more irritation, we'll call it, with Michael Jordan being listed as a starter at right guard. I'm saying let's see it. It's his 3rd year in the league. He had Jim Turner his first 2. Jim Turner, if you don't remember, stinks. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's now got Frank Pollock. Let's see what Michael Jordan is able to do. Paul Daniel Jr. of The Athletic did a great piece on him where Michael Jordan has lost a bunch of weight, packed on a bunch of muscle. He's kind of got this new lease on life after what happened with Joe Burrow last year, and he took fault for that, and he's determined not to let it be his defining moment. People forget Michael Jordan, 5-star coming into Ohio State, I believe to this day he might be the only true freshman to ever start for the Ohio State offensive line. And you know what happens with guys like that sometimes. They get so confident in their abilities early on that maybe they let off the brake pedal, and maybe this is the wake-up call Michael Jordan needed. He needed something, because if he doesn't get it done this year, it's going to be rough sledding for him from here out. But I'm excited to see what Michael Jordan does. Is that boring? Sure. I still think he has a ton of potential, and I'm not just saying that because we went to the same college. On the other side at guard, you got Quentin Spain listed as a starter over there. That's a guy who plays with a chip on his shoulder. You want a guy like Frank Pollock coming in there and firing those guys up. And again, offensive line talk, maybe it's boring. Sure, it is, but that's what makes teams win. I've went into it at length, and so has anyone with a mind. If your offensive line clicks, the rest of the offense will take care of itself, especially with the talent the Bengals have right now. And then you go down the line. That's my pet peeve for the week. That's my new favorite thing, is asking my guests their pet peeve. Here's my pet peeve for the week. When people complain about the preseason, if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. It's as easy as that, guys. You can do whatever it is you do late February through late July when football's not available for you to watch. You do not have to watch it. It's the same thing when people complain about the Super Bowl halftime show on Twitter. You can walk away, you can change the channel, you can eat another plate of pigs in the blanket or beanies and weenies or nachos or whatever it is you have. You do not have to enjoy the preseason, but you also don't have to complain about it. We're down to 3 games. These guys need live looks. Mike Florio caught a lot of heat on Twitter last week during the Hall of Fame game of Pro Football Talk, as he should, just mocking the preseason. Do you know how great it is for, there are thousands of young guys out there who have pictures of themselves in NFL uniforms, never made the roster. My friend Adam Bice got to play in a few preseason games for the Arizona Cardinals. Do you know how cool that is? That I know a guy who was in an NFL game? I don't care if it was a preseason. It's awesome that these guys get a chance to go out there, a lot of them from small towns, and make life-changing money if they put together a few good games. Look at guys like Victor Cruz of the Giants. Terrell Davis, Hall of Fame running back, made a huge play on special teams, ends up being a Hall of Famer. If you don't like the preseason, that's fine, but we don't need to hear you talk about it. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to watch the third quarter of the Bengals and Bucks this weekend and see what Jackson Carman can do, see what Deontay Smith can do, and Trey Hill. I'm so excited to see all these guys the Bengals have in the trenches. I want to see those new uniforms. I want to see Evan McPherson get to try one from 49 yards out. Let's see how it goes. Some of us enjoy this. The Bengals need those rookies to step up on the offensive line. I'm excited to see if they can do it. I mean, people hate on the preseason. Let me tell you what. If you hate on the preseason, you're not a true football fan, right? If you don't say anything, that's fine. But if you hate on the preseason, maybe you just don't like football. Maybe you like dressing up in your team's colors and drinking with your friends on Sunday afternoons, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That is good and well and creates a lot of jobs. But don't diss the preseason. That's where dudes are trying to make their dreams come true. And here you are complaining on Twitter when there's literally 10,000 other programming options available on your television. Just ignore it. Go do something else. Okay, that felt good to get off my chest. All right, like I said, short episode. We're 11 minutes in, and we are going to be done. It is in the jungle. I'm excited to see what happens this weekend. Joe Burrow, of course, will not play. I'm sure we'll see quite a few guys not play. Tom Brady, on the other hand, it sounds like will play. So we'll get to see the reigning Super Bowl MVP against a team that we all think maybe has a shot to win a Super Bowl at some point in the next, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever it is, just before I die. That would be great. All right, it's in the jungle. If you like it, give it a quick subscription, a quick rate, or don't. That'd be okay. If you have Bengals fans friends, send it along to them. You can follow me on Twitter. I am at Matt Edwards. I appreciate everyone tuning in. We will see you next week. Preseason game 1 will be in the books.